Hi, how's it in the name of Christ? How you doing? It's your girl Cranky. I hope you're good. I hope you're peachy. I hope you're Stella and I hope you're in a neat little bunch. If you're not, welcome to the parties. That's just not the story of our lives. So I'm using some other camera right now and it doesn't have a date stamp. So it is the 6th of October 2025. And according to Joshua Mhlakela, it's one day before the rapture, the second prediction. So let's wait to see what's going on. No, not let's wait to see. It's gonna fall to the ground, whatever. Anyway, yeah, so I'm doing ministry differently now, so I'm not gonna get into like too muchness or whatever, but I guess my introductions ought stay the same. I'm recording during the day because I just couldn't wait until the evening for things to calm down, for the heat to subside. For the heat to subside because it's really quite warm. No, it's not that warm. So therefore I may very potentially experience overheating with my device. I hope not. That insect must not enter in and I cannot afford to close a window because it's like some big, huge, crazy insect outside. Like it looks like a wasp. I don't know. Some flying thing. It appears to be gone. I've got blinds so they can see through the blinds. I don't know. Listen, let me just put caveats out there like before, I guess. Yeah, I've got captions that are not accurate. I'm not going to be editing them because I don't have an incentive to. I'm also wearing app makeup, so every so often it falls off my face. I very potentially have a scripture of the day. I think my ministry is still largely here the way that it used to be. It's just that now I'm recording more frequently than before and I'm editing less, so really it's still the same thing. I can't help but add stickers. I said that I was not going to do them. I can't help but add them. I can't help but add scriptures and whatnot, stuff flying around, so just gaze at it. Like I said, today's the 6th of October. I want to show you. Okay, so I don't have a topic of the day here because I don't have a date stamp. It's the 6th of October, but if I did have one, and no, I'm not gonna add one because like I said, less edits. It would be, of course, South Africa, you're dying. Duh, why wouldn't you? Of course, South Africa, you're dying. Duh, why wouldn't you be dying? Your women prostitute other women to crazy men, and your men are crazy and they are destroying the lives of all South Africans, and there are all these standoffish people doing whatever under heaven they want to do, hoping that it's gonna give somehow. They live in a silo. They live in a silo in a vacuum, and I'm just like, whatever. Listen, today's message is rather quite somber, but my prayer is that by the time I'm done, I'm gonna be feeling better, even though nobody should be feeling better. If anything, just somberness and being forlorn like all the day long. That's what needs to happen. I really pray that I don't get overheating because I need to just keep talking, okay? Anyway, but yeah, South Africa, whatever, you're done for. You're done for. You're done. Like, yesterday, when was I at? I went to Clearwater Mall. I wish why did I, I need to prepare better. When I come here, I already have a general plan or a general idea as to what I'm going to be doing, and then I just, like, certain stuff eludes me. So let me go and grab what I need to go and grab. Okay, I grabbed what I wanted to grab, and the thing I wanted to grab was my little handbaggy over here, okay? That I went to the store with, because inside my little handbaggy is my little purse. I went to Clearwater because I was just frazzled by the very thing I'm talking about, South Africa. Like, listen, we are done. We are done. We are absolutely 100% done. We understand that you can do occult magic, but whatever. Before I get too deep into this, how do you like my hair? I did it myself, you guys. I'm improving. I improved. I just went out on a limb and I did cornrows, you guys. And they actually they caught. They're not the bestest. You can see it's a bit of an amateur job, but it's still kind of killing it. And then at the back here, I've got like a scrunchie, a black one to hold my hair in a bunch. Everything is just looking exquisite, isn't it? Very spectacular. So let's praise the Lord for knowing how to do, teaching ourselves how to do our own hair. This is by far the first cornrow experiment on my head that actually looks presentable out in the wilderness, as opposed to something that I need to definitely put under a wig, because my old cornrows, the old experiments, were so tacky, so nasty, so frizzed up, and certain bunches looking kind of crazy that I could only put like a crochet style on top or a wig. Yeah, not something, yeah, but now I can sport it, and I am sporting. I'm a cornrows and I'm feeling it. So those of y'all that did not believe me when I told you that I used to be cute with a brush cut, now you can see more or less, because my hair is so flat against my scalp that it's giving more or less what I would look like if I had no hair, but a woman should have hair. Anyway, let's move on from the cornrow discussion It's only gonna keep getting better and better. I'm gonna keep them for a month, moisturizing and whatnot as they age. I hope they age well, that I might still be able to rock them, because it's like, proper, what else am I gonna put on my head? I'm done. I'm past the season of wigs. Like, I'm done. So I'm gonna make it fit. I'm gonna make it work in my videos. Insofar as I moisturize, I'll be good. I am going to make it fit, and I am going to make it work. Okay, so let's congratulate oneself for getting cornrows down, and under like it's Australia. Hey, okay. Anyway, listen, this is not a smiling matter. There is nothing of a happy tone in the heart. All right, while I talk to you guys, I might as well just do some edits, but I have to put this down when I do that, because I'm multitasking. I'm editing shorts in this particular space. Listen, South Africa. So the other day I went to, when I stop with the fan, it gets so hot. It gets so hot, and indeed my phone is overheating. I knew my phone would overheat. I need to be able to just keep talking. So I'm tempted to, since there's nobody in the house, to move the conversation to the house during the season when my mom is at work, and then I'll come inside here because I need to be uninterrupted. My phone is just, it's like, this place is warm. It's like a sauna. It's really hot, and I don't want to keep switching it off and then on again, off and on. But I also don't like recording in the house because it doesn't have the ideal conditions to record. But I'm gonna go there because there's no one in the house. But I'm also gonna have to move stuff. But it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Rather that than have to deal with this overheat. I could not wait until later because my heart was just so broken. Is so broken. I had to get this message out. I hate that I have to stop recording. Listen, my phone is overheating. It will switch off. It will. Like, it's just like nothing else is gonna happen here other than my phone switching off. So let's move to the house. What's up? I'm in my mom's bedroom. I'm in another room. In the house, it's cooler, so I shouldn't be experiencing any issues anymore with overheating. I found the process of moving quite arduous, but anyway, we did it. We are here. I'm not gonna be here long. It's already like 16:14. Like after 4 p.m. the sun is gonna set. When the sun sets, I will then move back to where I come from, where I prefer to be, because I have freedom of movement, speech, expression, just privacy. But yeah, the sooner I can get this particular early part out. Listen, I wish that I was back there because of what I want to show you. I forgot what was the last place that I last left at, but I was basically lamenting against South Africa, and I was saying, whatever, do you? And in the past few videos, I've been lamenting against South Africa, but things have gotten especially gnarly. Okay, satanic women, like crazy women. Listen, monstrous men need evil women. They need Jezebel. They need Delilah. They need give me a crazy lady in the Bible. They need horrible women in order to get to the rest of women, because God made things in such a way so as to ascertain that there are more or less 50% women and 50% men in countries, give or take, so that if there is just wholesale abandonment and wholesale abuse, wholesale harlotry on the part of men, that women will pretty much come through for each other upon having compassion on women issues. So you know that you're in the last days when there are no women coming through for women who are suffocating because other women want to put these women in harm's way. So I went to the mall to clear water. When I say that, it's huge because I don't go anywhere, because South Africa has buried me in a ditch and said, die. Like, they properly did that. South Africa literally said, die, dirty rat, die. And I was like, whoa. Okay, so I don't do anything. I don't go anywhere. I just record these videos. I live in a hole screaming on the internet, hoping that one day somebody is gonna rescue me, because they see that a person is not supposed to be living like this. Okay, my country made a decision through a most hot-bedded harlot to in the season of me screaming that I need help, yeah, pretty much put me at the mercy of some of the most licentious, dastardly, perverted men who are married, who are licentious, perverted men who are married, who are diseased, who've got 20,000 kids in these streets like Nick Cannon, men who make no sense being in the life of a God-fearing woman. I have been bewitched in so many capacities to pretty much do things that don't make no sense. The other day I dreamt about Candace Owens, believe it or not. I'm not saying Candace Owens one lawyer. Man, I'm just gonna share what God is showing me, because don't nobody see me. Why would Candace Owens know me? But I dreamt about her literally surveilling and monitoring. Remember the last video that I did? I said that Candace Owens reminds me of South Africa. She's kind of low-key crazy right now, and it looks as if though she's kind of demon-possessed. Yeah, I have a dream because of this like crazy rhetoric that she's spreading nonsense with Andrew Tate, wada. I complained, okay? And then I get a dream that same night where Candace, and I've had dreams about Candace Owens multiple times before, but I figured that it was just whatever getting dumped into my spirit. But at the same time, I've also had dreams about Pearl 2C. And once I exposed Pearl 2C in my content, I stopped getting dreams about Pearl 2C. So what that says is that very potentially I am being watched by strange little celebrities who belong to cults. I don't know. Now there is this like glaring sun coming into my mom's bedroom. You see, there are all these issues logistically that I have this side that I would much rather not have, but I don't have overheating. So if you are seeing too much sun or whatever doing a strange thing just coming in, it's because the window is back there. But once I am back, when I'm restored to that joint at the back, I will no longer have logistical issues. So we're just gonna maintain conversation. So if it's an American celebrity, why not then mention them, right? Because what? I'm scared, I'm trepidatious that I might just be walking around in a delusion of grandeur. Anyway, whatever. I get a dream of Candace Owens literally monitoring a process of implanting a baby in my stomach all the way to term. And then I gave birth to that baby, and only once I gave birth to some boy child, Candace Owens then left on some, yeah, now you're handled, because you're like all these other typical blacks all over the world that keep on having babies out of wedlock, no baby daddy to be found anywhere, you're not getting married, you don't have a proper family structure, nothing. You just enjoy pleasure, but no structure, no purpose, no family. And literally this woman left me high and dry, having just given birth to a baby, where it is that, listen, I didn't even know who the baby daddy was. Why the heck would I get such an ominous, malevolent dream about Candace Owens? I don't know. Candace Owens is a black woman married to a white man. She's got pretty much the American dream and a picket fence. And there is a problem, a cancer, a disease in the black community, where it is that women and men in the black community thoroughly want to be the only ones doing anything impressive, anything wonderful, anything regular, anything normal, anything moral in this world. And so they get into witchcraft, they get all involved, their hands all grubby, yeah, in some pretty malevolent things in order to control the narrative, so that the only ones that make sense. So you will literally find a whole bunch of black women in the black community, proper, right, getting married properly, not having children out of wedlock, being celebrated, and then after that literally invest in tons upon tons of tens of thousands of rands worth of witchcraft to make sure that her whole entire scheme of friends end up just popping babies for deadbeat like ex-boyfriends that they had broken up with and they don't want to get back together with. But now she's out here making a baby for a guy that she wants out of her life. Women out here making babies with random one-night stands. Women out here getting diseases. Women out here having 4 different children by 4 different baby daddies. Yeah, a woman that married properly, did life the right way, literally demanding that she be the only one with these statistics so she can have a plaque and like pretty much wave it in the freaking sky and then say, I'm the only one that married right, and I'm the only black person that is not enduring the black grain. But look at you be typically black, out here blocking the prospects of other black people. I've had dreams of multiple celebrity women that I don't even understand where the heck they get my content from, but the level of blocking that I am enduring right now is coming from some big place where it is that people belong to cults and they're wreaking havoc in my life. I keep dreaming about celebrities. I've dreamt about Bontle Muriselle, where I was having a lesbian marriage with her. She is a married woman to a man, and I had a lesbian marriage to Bontle in one dream. Pearl 2C was busy out there trying to direct and control my life, because if she succeeded to bring me low, she would then on that day gain some kind of clout, some kind of kudos from her cult, and then restore her to some pump or beef. And then Candace Owens, American woman, literally out here monitored a process of me getting impregnated and then giving birth to a baby, a boy, whose baby daddy I didn't know, and then just left me high and dry after that. And I have had so many dreams about Candace Owens, and I didn't even understand, because it's not like I was thinking about her at the time. Where it is that she was in one dream, her body was all over my grill. She was busy modeling her body around all over my face on some, look, I've got better legs than you, I've got better this, and I'm like why would I get a dream like that about Candace Owens? And then one time she was in a long train full of all the people that have ever betrayed me in my life, and pretty much all the South Africans that I look down on. I don't think much of them. And this train was riding on some tracks headed to a cliff, a mountain, pretty much the end, where it is that it would inevitably, car after car after train car, just fall down a mountain, with train cars basically just kind of with people in them, just rolling down a mountain in that horrific accident, killing everyone inside. She was in this train with a bunch of people that I know, my family members who have betrayed the living daylights out of me, former friends, like I said, South Africans in the entertainment industry and in the political landscape that I don't think much of. I think they're just scumbags. Yeah, and random strangers I didn't know. And all these people were sitting in this train as I was looking onto it from a vantage point where it's like a third person. And it just like was riding towards what I could see in the distance was a cliff off which each train car would inevitably fall, crash and burn to it, like go down with everybody inside dying. And I was like, I don't know why I'm dreaming like this about Candace Owens. Like, Papa, I have no clue. I don't know why I keep getting all these dreams about Candace Owens, but the final straw was the one that I got where the woman was literally monitoring a spiritual process of putting a baby in my stomach and making me a typical black woman. This woman is in America. I recently did a video talking about how she's literally mentally ill. Something overtook her one day, and whatever it is that overtook her made her irrational. And I even spoke about how she's even worse off than Tucker Carlson. And in the same night, I get this dream about Candace Owens, and no, it's not the first one. What I'm trying to explain is that behind every malevolent, most diabolical, most spectacular, nefarious plot and scheme by crazy men, there needs to be an enablement by crazy women. There needs to be an enablement by women who don't care about other women. Women who have got a facade, an outward appearance of righteousness. They've got to look good. They've got to look like the sweet konyane. I'm busy editing over here. They've got to look like they make sense. Listen, if there's lighting that's on and off changing, switching it up a storm, I'm ultimately going to be restored to an environment where there are no lighting issues. So, or at least not too many inflections, not too many changes. So just bear with me. The sun just keeps on beaming into the window and then leaving. So sometimes the lighting is good, sometimes it's not. Yeah. Behind crazy boys, there are crazy girls. It's what I'm getting at. Behind diabolical, beastly men that feel entitled to other women are crazy girls. And what inspires crazy girls to do this to other women? Listen, sometimes it's not even circumstances. It's not even the fact that you've got PTSD because your daddy raped you. It is not because there is anything at all to account for why you are so jealous against other women. It's literally for no other reason but the fact that you want to be the only person that has got any kind of semblance of a normal life. I have been harassed by such what appear to be upstanding women in my community, in my ecosystem, where I was at, in the office where I used to work, women I used to look up to, women I used to have very strong friendships with. I've been harassed by like women who, listen, there's nothing left. One woman was a spoiled brat rich kid whose family was pretty much celebrities and everybody knew about her, and everybody would just kind of hang around her, stick around her like white on rice, just because of the fact that her whole family had severe clout in the media. Her family had a great deal of clout in the media. Like, she had a celebrity family and she decided that she wanted a 9-to-5 job. Her brother was a whole big fat chunky real estate tycoon. Her dad was this, her that. Yeah, everybody wanted to hang with this girl because she was that girl in school that pretty much had all the cards on her table. Everybody wanted to latch onto her because she had influence. This woman, nothing lacked. I'm telling you right now, there was nothing that she wanted for. No account unto PTSD, no account unto life was hard and now I've made it. Nothing to explain why a person that was pretty much born with a silver spoon in their mouth, having been given a pedestal to, she was set up from birth for success. And then she decides to come at women who pretty much had to trudge through the streets of South Africa with hardship, scraping through tar just to get from one place to the next, getting degrees with sorrow, don't have cars in varsity, using taxis, always getting drenched by the rain. Like, those are our lives. Some years even having to drop out of university because parents couldn't afford fees. Women with those kinds of stats. Women with those kinds of rap sheets. Who, upon making it in life, listen, it was a trudgery through a forest. She came at us, and I was one of them. She came at me with spells to block my career, block my marriage. I was like, what in the world? That ought tell you just the cancer that is metastasizing inside the black community, and how, listen, none of us can breathe, none of us can stand unless we divorce ourselves, unless we separate ourselves from the grain of black thinking, and also unless we recognize, unless we spot and we identify that we are at risk, being black people, of this fourth generational curse, that we are going to be wholeheartedly irrational. That we are going to be wholeheartedly irrational in the way that we deal with our fellow black person. That in spite of where it is that we come from, or where it is that we are going, there is an inclination, a natural one at that, towards sabotage of a fellow black man. It's a generational curse, it's an entity, it's a demon. It is defeatism in the worst way. And people, it appears, can't help but go out like this. So, upon giving my life to Christ in 2011, I noticed that there were these grains, these trends in the black community. And I, of course, came up against them in prayer. And now today, I am literally bordering on being a hobo. I am nowhere in life. I can't do anything. It doesn't matter how smart I am. It doesn't matter what I've done, what I've studied. It doesn't matter what my vantage point is. It doesn't matter what I try to achieve. I am being set on the chest of by Black women doing everything in their power to make sure that I end up a typical Black statistic. Some of these Black women, of which, just like Candace Owens and just like that barbaric freak from my offices, nothing can account for why you're like this. You've got a silver spoon in your mouth. You've got a doting dad, a loving mom, parents never divorced. You've got a doting dad, a loving mom, parents never divorced. Brother loves you, sister loves you. Everybody calls you 24 times a day to make sure that you're okay. Proper. You cannot go missing for 2 hours without somebody getting all worried, without somebody opening a case at the SAPS, because that's just how careful people are for you and your safety. You are cushy. You're in a jumping castle all the day long. There is fluff around you. Flowers are your rain. You don't get drenched in the rain because what comes down from the sky are petals. That's your life. And then you decide to go and grab somebody who never mind gets water for rain, but hailstones, has to get through life with hardship, knows what the inside of a taxi smells like when they're sitting next to a man that can't stop smoking bachi, with people that have no regard for fresh air. And so now you gotta inhale all that until you get home. When you know after about a short left driver, whereas there's somebody that is sitting next to you that has only ever known how to give instructions to an Uber driver. When that crazy little Uber carried around all over Johannesburg crazy lady makes a decision to destroy the life of the chick who kept on sitting next to a man that smells like bachi in the taxi, what is going on? And that is the Black community. That is why I personally am kind of divorced from it in my nation anyway. And here it is that a woman from America is exuding these issues. So why? Why? It is a generational demon. It's an entity. It is something that tends you towards a particular space. And if you don't give your life to Jesus Christ, you're going to be a typical Black with a typical sabotage, typically destroying the lives of Black people because you feel like you need to be the only one. I don't know what it is in your genes, Black folk, that has made you feel like you need to be the only people that are okay in life. But your defeatism, listen, add to it a multiplier. Put on your defeatism 10,000 people, 20,000 people, 50,000, a million, and then realize that it becomes a cancer in the whole community. It becomes a stage 4 cancer. It becomes terminal. It metastasizes until nobody can breathe. And so all of us then pass away. I wanted a Black husband, and the Lord showed me that I'm going to inevitably marry a white man. Not because I think Black people stink so much that I got to marry a white man, but because the Lord was showing me that absent of you being wed off to a white man while these cancers are still metastasizing in the Black community, you will be waiting until you're 79 to get married. You will be waiting until you're 98 to get married because there is a stubbornness. Listen, there is a little bamboon doing his rounds, and I lamented about him and I keep lamenting about him, okay? Doing his rounds all over social media, speaking about how it is that the rapture is happening now, it appears, on the 7th of October. Never mind the 23rd and the 24th. His name is Joshua Mhlakela. He was exposed by scholars in the faith and many other people who indeed are biblical, rightly dividing the word of truth, right? And one of them is Mike Winger. And I did not watch the Sent Twins podcast because I also keep lamenting against the Sent Twins. Like I said, behind wicked men, there are women. There are women. Eve led Adam astray. I did not want to watch the Sent Twins because I made a decision that no, not anymore. Me, I don't want to get grieved. Like, I probably don't want to get grieved. It's for the same reason, the same reason that I highlighted in one of my other videos, that I don't watch Charlie Kirk's debates at universities, not because I don't like Charlie Kirk, but because I'm grieved by all the asinine bamboons that he keeps on having an apologetics discussion with. They're so asinine. They're so foolish in the way that they think, and the things that they say are so grieving that I can't write out an entire apologetics debate by Charlie Kirk, only because I don't know how he is that strong. I don't know how he could have been that strong to write out that level of folly. Yeah. So because I'm sensitive and I just can't take nonsense in my stride as bullets, hails of them just keep coming at me, of incendiary conversations, because I can't take that. Listen, I am sensitive, okay? I bruise easily, like the song. I bruise easily. So for those reasons, given that I tend to have this warped, like, overwhelming sense of dread, this dystopian feel about the earth in total, when people speak smack, I tend to think with every circumstance, there is a multiplier. So this one little asinine bamboon, there's like 20,000 of them somewhere. And so therefore the world is literally this dystopian. So when I listen to somebody speaking smack, I start to get into this melancholy, this sense of foreboding that the world is caving in on me, the walls are closing in, because everybody is a fool. Everybody is a fool. And the only people that are speaking right stuff are outnumbered. I feel like we are all just being closed in on. And so when I listen to asinine people encircling one wise man, I feel like the world looks like that. I feel like no one can breathe. I feel as if though It's only 5 seconds before the rest of us are taken over in a zombie apocalypse, in a dystopia, where this is their world now and we're just living in it. And so since my life already really sucks, I try very hard with every bone in my body not to watch crazy people or to listen to them, unless of course my hand is being held by somebody else that is sober, that is basically just kind of combing through their crazy rhetoric, their crazy argument, their diabolical conversation with wisdom. Then I might give them a chance, but even when I give them a chance, they still have to share snippets, clips, little video recordings of the fool saying a foolish thing. And then it lingers on me, like a person's halitosis in the lift, or a person's methane emissions since they farted in a lift. They just linger until I gotta clear the air. And during the season, when these things are lingering, I am bereaved, I am sorrowful, I am in a dystopian nightmare. I feel like the world in it, there are nothing but zombies, and I'm just living in it. My whole sense of Earth becomes dystopian. It becomes nightmarish. So I end up, long story short, regretting watching an apologist speaking at a rally, or even in a video, doing a reaction video against another crazy lady or a crazy dude. I find myself harassed anyway more by the pampoon speaking pampoonery than I am edified by the apologists' conversations, debunking or rebuking or refuting or the rebuttal of the wise man. It sinks. It's like bad news. You know that saying, no news is good news? Yeah, when then you get bad news, you focus on it only. All you see is the carcass on the street. If you've ever seen a not multi-vehicle car pileup, but a car accident, right? Where there is a dead body on the street covered with foil. It has power to ruin your entire day, even though you had just come from a surprise birthday party where it was a whole bunch of fun, and now you're headed to a dinner where you're going to meet your best friends, and you are then also looking forward in the next couple of weeks to a holiday that you have just booked at a travel agent at the mall when you were picking up the gift for the surprise birthday party. Essentially, everything is hunky-dory. Everything is dandy. But if you drive past a car accident where there is a dead body on the floor, that macabre, that ghoulish scene, that sorrow, that horror, that hazardous circumstance, that deathly atmosphere will take you over. Like a bad man driving in traffic, they will literally cut you off and ruin your entire day, even though everything was running swimmingly before, and everything that you're headed towards appears to have prospects of going swimmingly, unless the Lord stops it dead in his tracks. Gee. And now your joy has been cut short, or even Satan, because understand both God and the devil can take joy away. You need to ask yourself some pretty deep questions. If it's God taking away your joy, it says that you're probably like just crazy. But if it's the devil, fight your Job, okay? Anyway, whatever. Yeah, so long story short, bad news has power to pretty much take you over, cut you off in traffic, like the heinous driver I just mentioned now. Bad news has power to ruin a perfectly good day. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm sensitive, like I said. I wish I hadn't watched Mike Winger's reaction, exposition, if you will, apologetics debate against Joshua Mhlakela, because I lingered on the pampoon more than I was satiated by the sobriety and the wisdom of Mike Winger. He gave me pampering during the season of time that I was listening to him, but after stopping to listen to Mike Winger, and now it was a few hours down the line, a few days, I then just couldn't stop laboring on all the dastardly nonsensical, menacing, nonsensical grimacing, menacing and catastrophic, crazy talk coming out of that recalcitrant bamboon called Joshua Mhlakela. Listen, he lingered. He lingered, like I said, like fart in a lift or halitosis in that atmosphere. He lingered like a crush that you need to get over because you realize the guy does not have feelings in return. He lingered like an insensitive idiot that keeps on harassing you, lambasting you, castigating you, following you around with scorn when you're coming back from school. He just lingered. He lingered. And Mike Winger's talk around all of his incendiary activity stopped making a difference. So I hate watching stuff that, even though people are arguing against it, like the debates of Charlie Kirk, like the apologetics of Mike Winger, I still latch on to the folly. That's why I prefer not to watch the folly. I would much rather hear the folly being spoken about in reporting terms, paraphrased like in the second person by the person, rather than listen to a crazy person being interviewed and hear everything they're saying. I can't. Because at least when the person that is speaking about this idiot as an idiot, when they speak about them, they will always table their argument in a way so as to, listen, tear them apart, a straw man argument. They will rip them apart. They will rip them apart and highlight nothing good about them. And so you are satiated by the fact that a fool was foolish enough for him to have no good reports about him. And so you run with it. If they are reporting it from a third person or second person, I stand corrected as to which one is the right one over there. But if the guy is actually being interviewed and you're reaction videoing him, I can't. I just drive right by it like a drive-by shooting because I'm a boy in the hood. I just ride the air. But I couldn't help but click on Mike Winger's video after all. He did try and call out Joshua before the date came and went. And then I listened to that, all of it. And then I made a decision that let me just, listen to his aftermath video. And unfortunately for me and all of my dystopian existence, I dared allow myself to gaze upon that recalcitrant man. And the thing that I'm trying to highlight here about Joshua is pretty much the issues that I'm lamenting against in the Black community about our men. I have never in my life met this level of stubbornness anywhere else other than in Black men. They don't have an apology. They don't say sorry. They don't get corrected. Like the ones I've dealt with, they're so stubborn. And even when they call themselves Christians, they will keep on hammering down, doubling down, going into scriptures to explain to you why you are still wrong. I can't. And it's exhausting, y'all. It's exhausting. Listen, there's only how many years in a lifetime. And if you want to be happy, you just have to learn to walk away from certain spaces that will only recover in the next millennium. They will only recover after 50 years have progressed, 60 years have progressed, and now life has slapped them with hard lessons. Hard lessons. Only then. Who in the world has? Hard lessons. Who in the world has all that time? Who in the world has an entire lifetime of a man's folly? To have this man on his dying bed as a senile old geriatric finally say, I'm sorry for what I did to you in 1987. That's literally what Black men do. They wait for everybody to become middle-aged. They wait for everybody to become 59. They wait for everybody to become 67. They wait for everybody to become 108. And only when they are dying, wheezing, coughing out all different kinds of insensitivity, now that they're on their deathbed and they want to get right with God, only then are they like, listen, what I did to you when we were 2, I'm sorry. It was a messed up thing. They wait to apologize when everybody has already lost patience, when everybody has already lost vigor, youth, when everybody has essentially endured the ramifications of a recalcitrant bamboon. And so seeing as there's only so many years compacted inside what we call life, the Lord himself, not so much me, made this determination for me. He made this choice for me. He made this decision for me. He saw that you are going to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as a young Black woman and have big, fat, chunky hope that things are going to go better for you. You're going to even pray to me for it. But if you ask me for a husband, I'm going to give you another kind of man that you did not ask for. I was very particular as to what I wanted from the Lord. I put it down on paper, Sotho, Zulu, Tswana, anything from South Africa in particular. If you could be from Soweto, it would be even great. I wanted a Black man. And God was like, if you want the kind of thing that you want, Karabo, you're going to have to be prepared to pretty much take in your stride a man from any other race but Black. Because Amatota Enu, they don't want to repent. Of course, I know that this is blanket application. I know that not all Black men are like this, but a huge chunk, a grand majority, like, with like, if you rip apart your 4C hair, instead of gently detangling it, you be out coming out with a soccer ball sized tuft of hair because you've lost all that much hair. Yeah, that many Black men are involved in incendiary activity, while whatever remains on your head after you rip that comb through are the only sober ones. And so seeing as there are as many women as there are, and there are as many men as there are, what are the odds that I'm going to land the one dude that's still on my hair, growing out healthily from the root to the tip? What are the odds? So God was like, you need to be prepared to basically just move on from your desires for a Black husband. If you want me to give you the kind of man that you want, first and foremost, it's rare enough to find a Black man that's not going to be recalcitrant. And then secondly, it's rare enough to find one that is teachable, that is born again, and that's got the same principles as you, same desires, same also call largely to go and do the work of an evangelist, to go in the streets and make disciples of all nations, have the same gumption and gung-ho for me. The stats simmer down more and more. The probabilities of finding this guy more and more. It's hard enough to find godly men at all. It's hard enough to find godly men at all because the road is narrow that leads to life and only a few people find it. Now, in that small pool of godly men, are all races on earth, and there are new converts to Christianity, there are intermediary ones, and then there are mature Christians, and then there are those that have got certain missions that they're called to, what they need to do, what the Lord wants them to do. And so therefore, upon the Lord then awarding women husbands, he has to award them in tandem with things like compatibility of ministry, of mission, of purpose, geographical location, where largely you're going to marry somebody that lives in your city, in your country. What is this? Long story short, it becomes a non-issue to focus on racial demographic when already there are so few Christians, and even within Christendom, there are nuances and inflections where it is that matching people together becomes that much more of a surgical precision on the part of God. The Lord, while I might have asked for something long ago, pretty much made it clear to me that you're gonna have to let go on your prescriptions to me upon asking me in prayer what you want. You're gonna have to let go of your determination for a black man. And I pretty much accepted that a few years ago. Like 5 years ago. I was like, okay, it's not like I didn't want the white guy. I did ask for a black guy, but never mind white, any other race of a man. I was like, it's okay, give me whoever, insofar as Kimurata, insofar as we're compatible, etc. And the moment I mentioned on my lips that the Lord showed me mixed babies, that my husband is very potentially not black, black people came at me like a ton of bricks and pretty much said to me, so not only do you harass people for wanting a life at all, when then they break out of the community to go and find a normal life or some kind of a semblance of a regular life out there, you then do everything in your power to hold on to them even though you can't make them happy. You hold on to them even though you don't want to love them. You possessively hold on to black folks so we can all just swing in a miry cesspool of insanity. I got over you, black people, because I saw that I will never win. It's not like I didn't love you. It's that you didn't love me and that you didn't love each other. And I wanted love. I sought that from the Lord. And then I was met with more barriers to entry by black people. And the most disquieting thing amidst this whole circumstance is that they were helped along by black women. Women have been the biggest enablers of the post-traumatic stress that I now today have, where I look at pretty much every black man, even though it's not true, like they are a dastardly perverted, monstrous, sexually aroused beast that thinks that everybody is their potential baby mama. A sexually aroused beast that thinks that every woman is their potential baby mama. They meet a woman and they just want to tattoo her on the stomach with a child. Whether or not they're going to actually take care of this baby is irrelevant. And whether or not a woman actually wants to be like an honest woman, she wants to, what is the word? Make out of me an honest woman. You know when women say that, they're basically saying to boyfriends that marry me, so I can partake in sexual activity honestly. You shouldn't be fornicating in the first place. Make out of me an honest woman. That's what in the world. Women are saying when they say that it takes me so long to edit when I'm busy talking. I can't just do stuff quickly the way that I would when I'm not busy talking. They feel possessive over us. You see, me recording in the house has taken away a great deal of my peace because now my lips feel dry and I can't moisturize because I forgot my lip moisturizing kit in the bedroom. Whatever, let's move on. To Joshua Mtlagela with dry lips. 1 second, I'm gonna go and grab the Vaseline from my sister's bedroom. If you don't seek out true faith, if you do not seek out true religion, which is to take care of widows and orphans and to undo the straps of the yoke, to loose the bonds of wickedness, to set free the oppressed, to love your fellow man, then on that day you're not partaking in true fasting, you're not in true religion, you're not doing anything worthwhile. And in the black community, you all need to basically have uprooted from within you the drug addiction that you are born with. Like a, what do they call this thing? Like a junkie baby, like a meth baby, like a cocaine baby, like a baby born to a mom that could not stop snuffing lines. You need to go to rehab pretty much from birth so that you don't latch on to the tendencies, the proclivities of your family. Otherwise you will do a typical thing. And in this 2025, everybody is a little witch. So now there's all these sabotages happening against people, using spirits hoping that you're not going to get caught, until God Almighty raises up a standard and gives people dreams and visions. And now you're getting shown with your tswape, your bunga, your alles just coming out in bambozako in broad daylight, with people being aware of your harlotry. But that's just the thing. When you let someone know, when you call somebody out for witchcraft because you dreamt about it, you had a dream of it, because the Lord basically let you know in a very spiritual fashion, they can write you off as a psychiatric patient successfully. They can prosper to call you mad. But you see, nobody watches me, or at least not in a way that is evidenced by my analytics. So for those reasons, I can go out on a limb and take a risk and say, Genga, Candace Owens, is she busy? Just like South African celebrities, I don't know. However, one thing that is certain about Candace Owens is that she changed somewhere along the way, very evidently, day and night, 180-degree turn that she made. One day she woke up and became mentally ill in an observable capacity, to a point where the other day I speculated that she is literally oozing demon possession. And then I get dreams about her that frustrate me. It's like, I'm ouchie. This afternoon I read a post from Melissa Doherty, who I follow on YouTube, an excellent sister in the faith. And Melissa Doherty did something that she doesn't generally do. She shared a video not a video, but an email that some idiot, and I don't even know what his name is, and frankly, I don't care to look it up because, you know, it's like knowing the name of Joshua. Who cares? But I know it anyway. It's stuck on me like a burn stain, a burn imprint from your iron, and you're just wearing that shirt everywhere. That's some people that you know. Anyway, this guy, I don't know him, so I don't want to know him, but he is apparently allegedly abusing the living daylights out of Christians that he wants to bring on his channel to debate the existence of God. And yesterday or day before, he sent Melissa Doherty an email after, listen, he had sent her inflammatory emails long ago already, but Melissa was mature emotionally and said nothing, didn't even mention him, just was like, listen, if you are a big content creator, you are going to get some hate mail and some people are going to be incendiary and inflammatory. Just let it go. Yeah, that was Melissa. So all this time she let it go. But again, this man sent her an email, and this time around he F-worded her and C-worded her, a whole bunch of profanity expletives that he sent in an email, and called her, what he called her, he said that she is delusional and is in a effing cult. You say, you stupid, like, deceived C-word. Like something so inflammatory. And finally, Melissa Doherty was like, look at the email of this person in a post, and showed the world what this idiot said. And in her commentary, she said, under normal circumstances, I would not share inflammatory emails coming from people who are full of verbal abuse and all different kinds of crazy, right? Under normal circumstances. But after the murder, just like my point exactly, Linda, my whole entire stance and the way that I deal with stuff and what I can take in my stride has shortened. My fuse is that much shorter. Yes, the Holy Spirit gives us temperance for a fruit, but there comes a time when you say chanuch is chanuch. There comes a time as a child of God where you say enough is enough. Listen, you are capitalizing on the fact that I gotta turn the other cheek. Man, now I'm going to war. Even in the book of Ecclesiastes, it is written that there is a time for war and there is a time. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it is written that there is a time for war and there is a time for peace. And Melissa essentially went to war this time around. She had made a decision to let sleeping dogs lie. He is a nobody, a non-entity. The guy only has about 4,000 subscribers in comparison to the hundreds of thousands that Melissa has. So frankly, she can afford to ignore him. But then she said that, however, ever since the martyrdom of Charlie Kirk, I just couldn't. It's the fact that people are just mowing us to the ground. It's that they feel like they can just unleash live rounds into our necks and eliminate us. It is that they feel like they can smother our voices, silence us. It is that they think they can just come up out of nowhere like a bat out of hell and just like unleash expletives. You unhinged monsters think you can just come up at Christians and we will keep turning the other cheek. The day comes when the person that is much bigger than you, that is responding in magnanimity as opposed to retaliation, will unleash a blow that is going to throw you into the water and cause you to lose support. Because if you're busy inviting people to have a cordial discussion in your YouTube channel and then you swear at them over email, then you deserve to lose whatever supporters might be following you, where you are busy sending married women with children emails of that inflammatory nature, calling them members of effing cults that are also in and of themselves effing C-words. You deserve to be exposed on a mammoth platform like that of Melissa Doherty's when you only have 4,000 meager subscribers. That thing that happened with Melissa Doherty that also made me wag my head. I couldn't even read the rest of Melissa's post because I was just so mad and so fra, due to the fact that the thing that was rather resonating the most, because when you read a post on YouTube, when you gaze upon a post, the first thing you see is the image that is there. It's just going to be yawning at you, gawking. Do you understand? That is the first thing that you're going to see before you even read the post. So during the time when I was reading Melissa's post, I was already steaming, I was already bubbling, I was already boiling, I was already a kettle at the end of itself whistling and everything. I was already boiling, so I couldn't even concentrate. I was already seeing red, so I couldn't concentrate on Melissa's post. I couldn't concentrate on what Melissa had written because the entire time I was just ruminating on the inflammatory email that man sent, because that's the first thing I saw in the post. It's the first thing I saw. You no news is good news indeed, because you only focus on bad news for 10 hours. You linger, you labor, and if you're sensitive, you're going to take care of your emotions and everything. And so you're going to avoid inflammatory content. But if you can't avoid it because it just happens to be in your feed, and then you happen upon it and you see next to a Christian woman, there is all this inflammatory language, however, where it is that she has covered just a couple of words so as for it to not be clear, that not clear, but so as to bleep out, but it is clear what word it is that is over here. Then you're like, but Melissa, why are you sharing such inflammatory content and commentary until you realize what in the world is going on? Listen, you keep coming at us, okay? Barbarians. Like, you just keep coming at us. Well, then not for the same reasons. Then, as Melissa finally sharing some inflammatory, incendiary man's harassment of her person. Linda finally, after Melissa shared that thing. So for the same reasons that Melissa finally shared a post from some idiot, I'm also now finally sharing just this litany of nightmares I keep getting about Candace Owens.
I don't just dream. That's what you guys need to understand. I don't just get dreams about random things, and I also in particular don't just get repetitive dreams about a particular thing. I know witchcraft from whence it commences. I can see it from a mile away. It's like glaring brights at night coming at you from an opposite vehicle in a road that has no street lights, and so it blinds you, and unless you park in the yellow lane and hazard, you may get into a head-on collision. Yeah, that's how I see witchcraft. There is no ignoring that that's what it is. And in the same night of dreaming in that incendiary capacity about Candace Owens, I then get a litany of other nightmares from other crazy people who are also trying to put a baby in my stomach, and there was just so much sex in the dream. And listen, I don't watch porn. I don't even watch Netflix. I don't gaze upon people just making out smooching, breathing heavy on television, showing us all of their public displays of affection. I don't take in any pornographic content, every single day of my life. I walked away from Netflix because it grieved me. There was barely anything over there that made any sense, and look at how the world done caught up a couple of months down the line. Elon Musk, thank God, out to lament about proliferating the LGBTQ agenda, the trans agenda on children, and a whole bunch of people then abandoned Netflix. But I'd already walked away. A month ago, walked away from Netflix because it was grieving. There was no way that I could turn without a relatively clean and neat show within lambaste me with the LGBTQ agenda, with a whole bunch of violence, I just got tired. And so now all I watch are Christian movies online, and even then, old school Bible movies, because man, oh man, they're so feel good. They are during a time when everybody was yet to get this crazy. So I feel right at home over there because it's an ensconced environment. It's safe. Yeah, that's what I watch now in these 2025 streets, in these uneasy days. So I'm finally sharing what in the world I've been seeing about Candace Owens, because proper, you and all these other incendiary blacks trying to put a baby in my stomach before wedlock so you can make out of me one of the baby mamas of a proverbial Nick Cannon. Dream on. I don't just dream. I've had so many dreams about crazy celebrities. One of them is a guy in this country, some like hard knock, haughty celebrity that time and time again, I would just dream about him. And in one dream, he was my bride while I was a groom, the way that he was just so effeminate. And I was like, yeah. However, upon sharing dreams about these crazies, the dreams then stop. So maybe I will stop dreaming about Candace Owens. Now that I am saying, I'm trying to highlight that there is a problem, there is a cancer. It is metastasizing, it is reaching vital organs. There is a sepsis in the body. It is causing a person to die. Yeah, where it is that there are people who belong to entire cults who want to bond themselves to the elite of this world. People who belong to cults who want to unleash themselves to the powers of this world that strangely have access to very minuscule, ignorable, deletable, insignificant, infinitesimal people. But when you gaze upon these macroscopic people, they're feverish, black-bought, born-again sons and daughters of the living God with a very hot and bothered, feisty prayer life and a consecration that is to be emulated by many in the body of Christ. A deep and a hearty seriousness with the things of God. And so we are a mammoth stumbling block to occult activity in countries. And since these cults operate across borders, people in them know each other, even though in waking life, they can never apparently allegedly affiliate. So when I see celebrities in my dreams, I'm like, listen, the only power that comes up against the one-eye symbolism and the cult god that you serve is that of Christians. And so the haughtiest in your nation, the most like braggadocious, I love the word, that was utilized by Donald Trump at the UN the other day. I don't mean to be braggadocious, but if at all I don't praise myself, you ain't never gonna do it, right? Those of us that you call braggadocious because we're bragging in the name of Jesus Christ, due to the fact that we have true power in the Lord, our braggadociousness, if you will, yeah, causes occult practitioners in their spite and in their pomp and power and in their fever and in placing people in lofty positions, yeah, will cause some of the biggest people on earth to look at the most meager and lowly people. But then, like I said, when you grab a magnifying glass and you look at who these meager, lowly people are, they've got true power. They've got the power of the Lord Jesus Christ, and they are exceptionally consecrated. And they are a praying menace, a praying hindrance, a praying nuisance to occult practitioners. So you will be known by people in Brazil, in Venezuela. You will be known by people in Colombia, even though you're a nobody with a binary code for views on YouTube. And I'm sick and tired of dreaming about Candace Owens, and I think it's worth a while to highlight this after all. I did like her at some point. I saw her one time in a train headed towards a very heavy, hard knock, intense collision, not a collision, but getting off a cliff, every train car entering into a most catastrophic demise. Yeah, she's headed to the abyss in the worst way if she doesn't repent and truly give her life to the Lord Jesus Christ. It is no wonder that she easily could toss to and from Catholicism, from Christianity to Catholicism. It's because she was never rooted. She was never saved. Yeah. Well, from that first dream to this final one, now like Melissa Doherty, I'm enough. Now like Melissa Doherty, listen, genoeg is genoeg. Now like Melissa Doherty, I'm literally done. Like I'm finished. Like I'm exhausted to a point of pus coming out of my ears because it's all that disgusting. I'm finally going to boldly on a rooftop seeing as nobody wants me speaking and nobody watches my content, or at least it appears nobody's watching. I can afford to flat out say, Candace Owens is all up in my grill like white on rice and we don't know what's going on. She's all up in my grill like dandruff and some itchy scalp, okay? Don't know what's going on. But you see all this like crazy. You see all this incendiary activity. I'm getting to a point, and now the sun, it appears, has sufficiently said, I want to be able to speak at my leisure. And while my mother is not yet back, bottom line is she will be back soon. And I don't want to be interrupted in the middle of something very feverish, a conversation that is just ongoing, that I feel like if I lose my train of thought, I'm going to lose my momentum. So maybe we should move because it's cooler now. It's cooler. There's barely any sun. What are the odds that my device is going to overheat? Okay, let me give this 5 more minutes, 10 more minutes so the room itself can cool down. I left a fan on so as to extract hot air out through the windows when the sun starts to set. So let's drink my cold coffee and speak for maybe 10, 15 more minutes, and then we will relocate unless my mother comes back before then. Okay, Joshua. Like I said, Candace Owens, she's like a typical black woman that don't nobody be able to explain what under heaven would cause you to try and do this to another black woman. She and I would have literally been peas in a pod if at all she hadn't done this to me. Recognized the folly of the black community and all the incendiary activity, and then got wed off elsewhere and lived a life that has joy, true, meaning true, purpose true, and relational stability true. Have friends across the color spectrum and mutual respect for people who love God, family, and legacy. We would have been peas in a pot. And indeed, the first time that I found Candace Owens content, I was like, if at all she was a South African and maybe younger, we would have been best friends. Not younger, sorry, if I was younger, we would have been best friends because I'm a good, that's also another thing, like I don't understand, like I'm a cool, like maybe like 12 to 13 to 14 years older than Candace Owens. I think she's still in her 20s. She's very young. So what is going on with a woman that young out here trying to ruin the life of a woman that is already so post-traumatic stressed in her 40s, suffocated by the very issues she claims to be an advocate against, a protagonist against in the black community, calling out all the incendiary activity in the black community, and then you back at the ranch. That's how witch